Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something that separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who start from those who finish, those who wish from those who win. That secret, that powerhouse is consistency. See, talent is great, passion is wonderful, but without consistency, they are nothing more than sparks in the dark. You could have the brightest idea, the most incredible plan, the most burning desire, but if you don't show up every single day, if you don't put in the effort day after day, week after week, month after month, it won't matter. Nothing will change. Consistency is not sexy. It doesn't look flashy. It doesn't give you instant gratification. But let me tell you something. It builds momentum. It creates trust. It forges results that compound like interest in the bank. Every day you commit. Every day you take action, you are investing in a future that will reward you beyond your imagination. Imagine a river carving a canyon through solid rock. The water is gentle, unassuming, almost invisible in the grand scheme of things. Yet over time, it transforms the landscape. That's consistency. Small actions repeated consistently lead to massive transformations. Not tomorrow, not next week, but eventually, inevitably, because you never gave up, because you never stopped showing up. I want you to ask yourself a question today. Are you consistent? Are you willing to do the things today that others won't? To build the life that others only dream about? Are you willing to keep going when the excitement fades, when the results are slow, when nobody is watching? Because that is where champions are made. That is where leaders are born. That is where your destiny awaits. Consistency is also about discipline. It's about refusing to be swayed by excuses, distractions, or temporary setbacks. Life will test you. It will challenge you. It will throw obstacles in your path. But the people who stay consistent are the people who rise. They are the people who finish the race, who accomplish the goals, who turn dreams into reality. And here's the truth. Consistency compounds. One small victory today leads to 2 tomorrow. 2 leads to 10, 10 leads to 100, 100 leads to a life you never thought possible. It's not magic, it's simple mathematics applied with unstoppable action. So I challenge you, decide today to stay consistent. Decide today that no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, you will show up, you will take action. You will be relentless, you will be unshakable. Because the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, not luck, it's consistency. When you combine relentless consistency with your passion, your focus, and your belief in yourself, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing. The universe respects persistence. Life rewards those who refuse to quit. And you have the power inside you to become unstoppable, to achieve greatness, to live a life of impact, influence, and fulfillment. So rise every day with the commitment to stay consistent. Embrace the small steps. Trust the process. Keep moving forward. And I promise you, one day you will look back and you will see that everything you dreamed of, everything you worked for, everything you believed in, you created it. Not by luck, not by chance, but by staying consistent. Now go, take action and never stop showing up. Consistency beats motivation every time. And I want you to feel the power of that statement deep in your bones, because this is the truth that changes lives. You see, motivation is fleeting. Motivation is like a spark. It ignites excitement. It makes you feel like you can conquer the world for a moment. But unless you turn that spark into a flame that burns every single day, nothing will change. Motivation will come and go. Some days it will find you in abundance. Some days it will abandon you when you need it most. If you wait for motivation to drive you, you will always be chasing, never arriving. The difference between people who dream and people who achieve is not how inspired they feel in a moment. It's how disciplined they are in showing up day after day, even when they don't feel like it. Think about the times you started something with excitement. Maybe it was a workout routine, a project at work, a personal goal, or even a relationship. You felt pumped, ready to give it everything you had. And then what happened? Life happened. Work got busy, distractions came, obstacles appeared, and the initial motivation that pushed you forward faded. That's the moment when the powerful choose a different path. That's the moment when the ordinary say, I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll pick it up when I feel inspired. But the extraordinary understand that consistency, not motivation, is what creates results. You don't rely on feeling good, you rely on doing the work. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not about showing up when it's easy or convenient. It's about showing up when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or even discouraging. It's about doing the things that others avoid because they require effort, patience, and persistence. Every single day, whether you feel motivated or not, you commit to the process. You commit to the small actions, the incremental improvements, the daily rituals that build the foundation for greatness. Motivation may get you out of bed today, but consistency will get you to the finish line tomorrow. Motivation may light a fire, but consistency keeps it burning. Think about a master of their craft. Whether it's in business, sports, art, or leadership, you might see their success and think it came from talent or luck, but the truth is far more powerful. Behind every triumph, behind every record-breaking achievement, there is relentless consistency. They didn't wait for motivation to strike every day. They didn't let mood swings or feelings dictate their actions. They showed up, they practiced, they repeated the small, sometimes tedious actions that others skipped. And over time, those small, consistent actions compounded into extraordinary results. Imagine planting a seed. You don't water it once and expect a tree. You don't cheer for it one day and assume it will grow overnight. You water it consistently, nurture it every day, even when the results aren't visible, even when it looks like nothing is happening. That's consistency. That's what turns dreams into reality, ideas into results, and goals into achievements. You may not see the impact immediately, but every action you take compounds, builds momentum, and moves you closer to the life you want to create. Consistency also trains your mind. It builds discipline, it strengthens your willpower, and it creates a mindset that doesn't depend on temporary emotions. When you show up day after day, you develop mental toughness. You develop the ability to keep going when others quit, to push through resistance when others give up, and to act with purpose when the path is unclear. Motivation is unreliable, but discipline and consistency are dependable. You can count on them to produce results every time you commit. Let's talk about habits, because consistency is the engine behind habits. When you consistently take action, you form habits that eventually require less effort, less willpower, and less thought. The actions that once felt difficult become automatic, and that's where transformation happens. A single workout, a single hour of study, a single disciplined choice doesn't seem like much, but repeated consistently, it reshapes your life. Consistency turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes because it compounds over time. Every successful person understands the principle of showing up. They understand that waiting for motivation is a trap. Motivation is temporary, but commitment is eternal. Motivation may fuel your journey, but consistency drives the results. If you can train yourself to act even when you don't feel like it, to follow through even when your energy dips, to persist when others pause, you become unstoppable. You develop a rhythm, a flow, a momentum that propels you forward regardless of external circumstances. Consider the example of a professional athlete. They don't train only when they feel like it. They don't wait for inspiration to strike before hitting the gym, practicing their skills, or refining their techniques. They train consistently, relentlessly, day after day, because they know that greatness is built on the foundation of repeated effort. Motivation may make them excited on Monday, but consistency ensures they dominate on Sunday. That principle applies to every area of life: business, health, education, personal growth, relationships. Showing up consistently is the secret weapon that separates those who talk about success from those who live it. Consistency is also about overcoming resistance. Life will throw challenges, obstacles, and setbacks at you. Some days you will feel exhausted, discouraged, or frustrated. Some days you will wonder if your efforts are worth it. This is the moment where consistency becomes your ally. When you continue to act despite discomfort, despite doubt, despite fatigue, you build resilience. You train yourself to move forward even when the path is hard. Motivation alone cannot carry you through those moments, but consistency will. It doesn't rely on feelings, it relies on action. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds in ways you cannot always see. Small actions repeated consistently lead to exponential results over time. A single phone call, a single email, a single workout, a single moment of effort may seem insignificant today, but when repeated every day, it becomes unstoppable. It creates opportunities, builds trust, and generates momentum. Every small, consistent step moves you closer to your goals, even when progress feels slow. Every single day counts. Every single action matters. And here's the truth: anyone can be consistent if they decide to be. It's not about talent. It's not about intelligence. It's not about luck. It's about deciding right here and right now that you will show up, that you will take action, that you will follow through regardless of how you feel. Consistency is a choice, and that choice is available to every single person willing to commit. The world rewards those who persist, those who endure, those who refuse to quit. Consistency also builds credibility. When people see you consistently taking action, delivering results, and showing up, they begin to trust you. They begin to rely on you. Your reputation grows because you are reliable, disciplined, and focused. Motivation might inspire others for a moment, but it's consistency that earns respect, builds influence, and creates lasting impact. You can influence your life, your family, your career, and your community through the power of showing up consistently. You may be asking yourself, how do I maintain consistency? It starts with clarity. You need to know exactly what you want and why you want it. Your purpose fuels consistency because when your reason is strong enough, Showing up becomes non-negotiable. It's not about waiting to feel motivated. It's about committing to the outcome and trusting the process. Break your goals into daily actions, create routines, track your progress, and hold yourself accountable. Surround yourself with people who support your consistency and eliminate distractions that sabotage it. The structure you build around your consistency amplifies your results. The moment you embrace consistency, you change everything. You stop relying on fleeting emotions. You stop waiting for external validation. You take control of your life. You become the person who acts despite fear, who persists despite doubt, and who achieves despite challenges. Motivation is a spark, but consistency is fire, and fire transforms everything it touches. Every action you take, every step you repeat, every small choice you make consistently compounds. You may not see the results today, but the seeds you plant will grow into forests of achievement, abundance, and fulfillment. The people who succeed are not the ones who feel motivated every day. They are the ones who act consistently, day in and day out, regardless of how they feel. And when you embrace this truth, when you commit to it fully, you unlock the power to create extraordinary results in every area of your life. Small actions compound into massive results. And this is a principle that can completely transform the way you approach life, work, and your dreams. Many people believe that success comes from one big breakthrough, one miraculous opportunity, or one moment of brilliance, but that is a myth. Real success is rarely a single event. It is the accumulation of small, consistent actions performed over time. Every tiny choice you make, every small effort you invest, every habit you nurture compounds and builds the life you desire. It may not feel significant in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, those small actions create results that seem almost magical in their impact. Think about a savings account. If you deposit a small amount every day, you won't notice much change initially. But as the months go by and as interest compounds, the balance grows exponentially. The same principle applies to your personal growth, your career, your health, and your relationships. Each small positive action is like a deposit into the account of your future success. The key is not to underestimate the power of incremental progress. People often overlook small actions because they feel insignificant, but these actions, repeated consistently, create unstoppable momentum that can change your life. Consider the example of someone trying to get fit. One workout may not make a visible difference. One healthy meal may not transform your body. But when you commit to exercising regularly, choosing healthy foods consistently, and taking care of yourself daily, the results compound. Your strength grows, your energy increases, your confidence soars, and eventually, the transformation becomes undeniable. It is the accumulation of small, deliberate actions repeated consistently that creates massive results. One day, you look back and realize that what seemed small at the time was the very thing that built your success. The same applies to learning and skill development. Imagine if you devoted just 30 minutes every day to studying a new language, practicing an instrument, or improving your craft. 30 minutes may feel insignificant, but over a year, that small daily investment adds up to over 180 hours. Over 5 years, that's more than 900 hours. Small actions compound, and suddenly you become not just competent, but extraordinary. The compounding effect works silently, patiently, and powerfully. It rewards persistence and punishes inconsistency. Many people fail to recognize the power of small actions because they are focused on instant results. They want to see dramatic changes immediately, and when they don't, they give up. But the truth is, anything worth achieving requires repeated effort. Small actions, when compounded, create habits. Habits create routines. Routines create momentum. Momentum creates results. It is this chain reaction, triggered by consistent small actions, that separates those who achieve greatness from those who only dream about it. Consistency in small actions also builds confidence. Every time you take a small step toward your goal, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, that you can follow through, and that you can create results. That belief fuels further action, which fuels further results. It becomes a cycle of growth that is self-reinforcing. You start to see progress, and that progress inspires more effort. You start to trust the process, and that trust allows you to keep going even when the journey feels long or challenging. Small actions compound not just in the areas of personal growth or skill, but in relationships and influence. Simple gestures like checking in with someone regularly, offering support, expressing gratitude, or showing kindness may seem minor, but they accumulate over time to create deep, lasting relationships. People remember consistency in action, reliability, and care. Small actions repeated consistently build trust and respect that no single grand gesture could achieve. Your reputation, your influence, and your impact are the products of countless small, deliberate actions carried out over time. The power of compounding also extends to mindset. Each positive thought, each act of self-discipline, each choice to focus on growth rather than comfort compounds. Negative thoughts may creep in, and distractions may tempt you, but every time you choose a small constructive action, you reinforce your mental strength and resilience. You are literally building your future self brick by brick, action by action. You are creating a person who is capable, confident, and unstoppable not by luck, but by the deliberate accumulation of small, consistent actions. Even in business or entrepreneurship, the principle of compounding small actions is critical. A successful business rarely emerges from one brilliant idea or one lucky break. It emerges from the accumulation of countless small actions, consistent marketing, regular communication with customers, incremental improvements in products or services, diligent tracking of performance, and continuous learning and adaptation. Entrepreneurs who embrace this principle understand that the path to massive results is paved with countless small, intentional actions executed consistently over time. It is also important to recognize that compounding can work in the negative direction if you are not careful. Small, inconsistent, or destructive actions like procrastination, neglecting your health, or avoiding responsibility also compound, but they compound in a way that creates obstacles, setbacks, and regret. This is why it is crucial to choose your actions wisely, to focus on small positive steps, and to understand that the power of compounding does not discriminate. It rewards consistency, whether positive or negative. The beauty of small actions compounding is that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to make monumental efforts every day. You need to make deliberate, intentional efforts, no matter how small. The key is to start, to keep going, and to trust that the accumulation of these efforts will lead to extraordinary results. One day, you will look back and see that what seemed like minor actions were actually the foundation of your success, the building blocks of your achievements, and the secret to creating a life beyond your wildest dreams. Small actions also teach patience, persistence, and humility. You learn that greatness is earned, not given, and that every step matters. You develop a mindset that embraces the journey, appreciates incremental progress, and trusts the process. This mindset is what allows you to persevere when challenges arise, to stay motivated when results are delayed, and to continue taking action even when the outcome is uncertain. The compounding effect of small actions is both powerful and patient. It requires faith in yourself and trust in the process, and this is where small actions compound into massive results. When you combine action with consistency, clarity, and belief, you take deliberate steps, you repeat them every day, you track progress, and you adjust when necessary. You embrace challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and setbacks as redirections. You understand that each small action is not isolated but connected, and that each day of effort contributes to a larger, unstoppable movement toward your goals. This principle applies to every area of life: personal growth, business, health, relationships, financial success, and personal fulfillment. It is universal, timeless, and transformative. Discipline is your superpower, and it is the invisible force that separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. People often think talent, luck, or inspiration are the keys to success, but the truth is far more powerful. Discipline is what allows you to take action even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when the path is difficult, when your energy is low, when the world seems stacked against you. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results, between dreams and reality, between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. Discipline is not about restriction, it is about freedom. The more disciplined you become, the more control you gain over your life. When you can regulate your actions, manage your priorities, and follow through on your commitments, you create a life where you are not subject to whims, emotions, or distractions. Discipline is the ability to act consistently toward your objectives, even when the immediate gratification is absent. It is the commitment to a higher purpose, a larger vision, and a deeper sense of responsibility to yourself and the life you want to create. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. They rely on bursts of motivation, expecting short-term enthusiasm to carry them through long-term challenges, and they fail. Discipline is what fills the gap between fleeting motivation and lasting achievement. It is the force that ensures you show up day after day, performing the necessary tasks, no matter how mundane or difficult. Discipline is the muscle that grows stronger with use, and the more you exercise it, the more capable you become of achieving your goals. Consider the habits of high achievers. They wake up early, they prioritize their tasks, they follow structured routines, and they take action even when they are tired or uninspired. They do not wait for perfect conditions or emotional highs. They act consistently because they understand that discipline, not chance, is what produces results. Every great leader, athlete, entrepreneur, or creator has cultivated discipline as their superpower. They have trained themselves to overcome resistance, to delay gratification, to focus on long-term outcomes rather than short-term comfort. Discipline allows them to do the work when nobody is watching, to push beyond limits, and to embrace challenges as opportunities to grow. Discipline is also the key to self-mastery. It is the ability to control impulses, manage emotions, and act with intention rather than reacting to circumstances. Life will test you in countless ways, tempting you to give in to distractions, excuses, or comfort zones. Every time you resist these temptations and choose to stay committed to your objectives, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you reinforce your ability to achieve bigger goals. Discipline is the engine that powers personal growth, and without it, even the greatest potential remains unrealized. Discipline works in tandem with consistency, creating a compound effect that propels you forward. Consistency is about showing up, but discipline is about showing up with focus, intention, and quality. It is about doing the right things at the right time, not just any action. Discipline helps you prioritize, helps you structure your day, helps you maintain momentum when energy wanes. It is the ability to commit to the process, to embrace the grind, and to trust that the cumulative impact of disciplined actions will deliver extraordinary results. Think about the people who have transformed their lives through discipline. They did not rely on luck or inspiration. They relied on daily routines, on habits, on the deliberate choice to act in alignment with their goals. They may have started small with tiny actions, but those actions were repeated, refined, and amplified over time. That is the power of discipline. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes because it ensures that every action counts and every day contributes to your progress. Discipline is the multiplier of effort, the hidden force behind success that others often overlook. Discipline also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. Without discipline, you are easily swayed by setbacks, failures, or criticism. With discipline, you face obstacles head-on, maintain your focus, and continue taking action even when the journey is difficult. Discipline transforms challenges into opportunities for growth. It teaches you to persist, to adapt, to learn, and to keep moving forward no matter the circumstances. It is the key to navigating uncertainty, staying on track, and achieving goals that others might consider impossible. Financial success, personal health, relationships, and professional achievement all require discipline. Saving money, exercising regularly, maintaining strong connections, and performing at a high level are not one-time actions. They are repeated, deliberate choices. Discipline ensures that you prioritize long-term benefits over short-term pleasures. It helps you avoid distractions, overcome procrastination, and stay aligned with your vision. Every time you exercise discipline, you are building a life that reflects your values, ambitions, and potential. Discipline is also about delaying gratification. It is the ability to say no to temporary pleasure for long-term gain. The world is full of distractions, temptations, and shortcuts, but discipline empowers you to resist them. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, to make choices that serve your highest priorities, and to invest in your future self. Delaying gratification is not deprivation. It is empowerment. It is the conscious decision to trade momentary comfort for lasting impact, to choose the path of growth over the path of ease. The greatest superpower of discipline is that it compounds over time. Just like a small seed grows into a towering tree through consistent care, disciplined actions build upon one another to create results far beyond what you can imagine. One disciplined decision leads to another, one habit strengthens the next, and one consistent effort multiplies across all areas of your life. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence, dedication, and unwavering commitment. It is the engine that turns vision into reality, potential into achievement, and intention into action. Discipline is also deeply empowering because it places control in your hands. You cannot control every external factor, every opportunity, or every challenge, but you can control your actions, your effort, and your commitment. Discipline gives you the ability to respond to life with power rather than passivity. It allows you to shape your circumstances, influence outcomes, and create the results you desire. The disciplined person is not a victim of circumstance. They are the architect of their life. Finally, discipline teaches patience and long-term thinking. It reminds you that meaningful results are rarely immediate and that greatness is built gradually. It trains you to stay committed, to trust the process, and to persist despite obstacles. It cultivates a mindset that values effort, process, and consistency over instant rewards. It builds confidence because each time you follow through on a disciplined action, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving what you set out to do. Discipline is the foundation of self-mastery, the engine of progress, and the superpower that unlocks your highest potential. Momentum is built, not bought, And understanding this truth can completely transform the way you approach your life, your goals, and your dreams. Too many people wait for the perfect moment, for the ideal opportunity, for luck to intervene, thinking that success is something you can purchase or stumble upon. But the reality is far different. Momentum is not handed to you. It is earned through consistent action, intentional effort, and relentless focus. It is a force that grows over time, fueled by persistence and compounded by every decision you make, every action you take, and every step you repeat toward your objective. Momentum begins with a single action. It does not start with motivation, money, or talent. It starts when you decide to act, when you choose to take one step forward, even if the path is unclear, even if the conditions are imperfect. That first action creates energy, and that energy begins to attract more opportunities, more ideas, and more confidence. It is like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it is small, almost invisible, and easy to ignore. But with each rotation, it picks up more snow, more weight, more speed. Soon, it becomes unstoppable. And by the time it reaches the bottom, it has transformed into a powerful force that could not have been achieved without the initial push. Momentum works the same way in life. One of the greatest mistakes people make is waiting to feel ready, waiting for inspiration, or waiting for circumstances to align perfectly before they act. They want momentum to appear magically as if it can be bought or borrowed, but that is impossible. Momentum only exists because of action, and action comes from commitment. When you commit fully to a goal, when you take steps toward it consistently, momentum begins to build. At first, progress may seem slow, almost imperceptible, but if you persist, if you continue to act despite challenges, resistance, or setbacks, the power of momentum will carry you forward in ways you could not achieve by effort alone. Think about the world's most successful people. They did not wake up with momentum magically in their favor. They started small. They acted repeatedly, refined their approach, overcame obstacles, and continued to push forward. Each action, no matter how minor it seemed at the time, contributed to building momentum. Each challenge they faced, each failure they endured, each moment they refused to quit strengthened the force that carried them towards success. Momentum is a product of patience, persistence, and the willingness to act consistently over time. Momentum is also closely tied to confidence. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. That proof generates energy and belief, and that belief fuels more action. Momentum feeds on itself. Once you have taken the first steps, the next steps become easier. Obstacles appear less daunting. Decisions become clearer. The energy you create from action becomes a self-reinforcing cycle that propels you forward faster and further than you could have imagined. This is why momentum is more powerful than motivation. It does not depend on fleeting feelings or temporary inspiration. It depends on action, consistency, and persistence, and once it begins, it carries you forward with a force that is unstoppable. Building momentum requires focus. You cannot start a powerful movement if your attention is scattered, if your energy is diluted across too many tasks, or if your priorities are unclear. Momentum is generated when actions are directed toward a specific outcome, when effort is concentrated on meaningful tasks, and when every decision is aligned with your larger vision. Distraction and indecision are the enemies of momentum. The more focused and deliberate your actions, the more quickly momentum accelerates. Concentrated, consistent action compounds over time, creating a force that not only propels you forward, but also attracts opportunities, resources, and people who align with your mission. Momentum also requires courage. Action often begins in the presence of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Taking the first step is uncomfortable, risky, and sometimes intimidating. But that discomfort is the signal that you are moving in the right direction. Momentum is built by acting in spite of fear, by refusing to let hesitation or doubt dictate your decisions. Each courageous step reinforces the energy that drives progress, creating a ripple effect that compounds over time. The more you act, the more momentum you generate, and the more capable you become of handling challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Another key element of momentum is persistence. You will face obstacles, failures, and moments when it feels like nothing is moving. It is precisely at those times that momentum can be created, not by giving up, but by continuing to act. Every effort, every repetition, every attempt adds energy to the movement you are creating. It may not be visible immediately, but the compounding effect of persistence transforms small actions into unstoppable forward motion. Momentum is built through commitment, resilience, and the refusal to quit, even when the outcome is uncertain or delayed. Momentum can also be amplified by leveraging energy from multiple areas of your life. When you combine physical vitality, mental clarity, emotional resilience, and purposeful action, your momentum multiplies exponentially. Your health supports your energy, your mindset drives your focus, your discipline sustains your actions, and your purpose directs your energy. Momentum grows when these forces align. creating an unstoppable force that carries you toward your goals more powerfully than individual efforts ever could. It is important to understand that momentum is cumulative. Small victories, small achievements, and small steps all contribute to building a larger force. One action alone may not seem significant, but repeated over time, it creates movement that cannot be ignored. Every positive choice compounds, every small win reinforces your confidence, and every step forward accelerates progress. Momentum rewards consistency, effort, and persistence, and the longer you maintain it, the more unstoppable it becomes. The key to harnessing momentum is to start to act and to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. Waiting for perfect conditions, perfect timing, or perfect resources will only delay progress. Momentum is created by imperfect action repeated consistently over time. The first action is the most difficult because it requires courage, focus, and belief. Once that first step is taken, the energy generated from action begins to feed itself, accelerating your progress and creating opportunities that were previously invisible. Momentum also builds resilience. As you continue to act, you encounter challenges, resistance, and setbacks. But each challenge you overcome, each obstacle you navigate, and each difficulty you endure strengthens the force propelling you forward. Momentum is not just about speed. It is about unstoppable, forward-moving energy that allows you to maintain progress even in the face of adversity. The more challenges you overcome, the stronger your momentum becomes, and the more equipped you are to handle future obstacles with confidence and skill. Finally, momentum is contagious. When you are moving forward with purpose and energy, you attract others who are drawn to your vision, your commitment, and your energy. People want to be part of movements, not static ideas. Momentum creates influence, builds support, and amplifies your impact. The more you act, the more energy you generate, and the more opportunities you attract. Momentum is not bought, it is earned, cultivated, and sustained through consistent, deliberate, courageous, and persistent action. Consistency creates trust and credibility. And this principle is one of the most powerful yet overlooked forces in life, leadership, and personal growth. People often focus on short-term results, quick wins, or flashy achievements, but the foundation of lasting success is not in the grand gestures. It is in the daily, consistent actions that demonstrate reliability, integrity, and commitment. Trust is not given. It is earned over time through repeated proof of competence, honesty, and accountability. Credibility is not assumed. It is built step by step, day by day, action by action. Consistency is the bridge that connects your intentions to your reputation, your promises to your influence, and your goals to your results. Think about the people you respect most. You respect them not because they made one big statement or performed one remarkable act, but because they have repeatedly shown up, delivered, and demonstrated their values over time. They have proven that they can be counted on, that their word means something, and that their actions match their intentions. That is the power of consistency. It transforms ordinary individuals into leaders, trusted advisors, and credible influencers because their reliability becomes undeniable. Consistency builds credibility because it communicates reliability. When people see that you do what you say you will do, that you follow through on commitments, and that you act with integrity, they begin to trust you. Trust is the currency of relationships, influence, and leadership. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas, most persuasive arguments, or most impressive skills have limited impact. People will listen once, perhaps twice, but only consistent action earns long-term credibility. When your actions consistently align with your words, your reputation grows and your influence becomes unstoppable. Consider the workplace. A colleague or leader who consistently meets deadlines, communicates clearly, and acts responsibly is valued, respected, and sought after. Their credibility is earned not in a single project, but in the accumulation of consistent behaviors over time. Every report submitted on time, every promise kept, every follow-through action adds to the trust others place in them. In contrast, inconsistency erodes trust. Failing to deliver, changing priorities without notice, or acting unpredictably diminishes credibility and creates doubt. People rely on patterns, and consistency establishes the pattern that builds trust. Consistency also creates personal confidence and self-trust. When you commit to yourself and follow through on your actions, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, reliable, and in control of your life. This internal consistency translates outward, enhancing how others perceive you. People instinctively trust those who demonstrate self-discipline and follow through because reliability is rooted in personal integrity. When you show up consistently, even in small ways, you build a track record of dependability that becomes the foundation for influence, leadership, and long-term success. In relationships, consistency is the glue that binds connections together. Trust is fragile and can be damaged by a single broken promise, but it is strengthened and fortified by repeated actions that demonstrate care, reliability, and attentiveness. Whether in personal or professional relationships, Small, consistent gestures, checking in, listening actively, following through on commitments, create a sense of security and confidence in others. People begin to know what to expect from you, and that predictability builds a deep, lasting trust. Over time, that trust becomes the foundation for collaboration, loyalty, and influence. Consistency also amplifies credibility in leadership. A leader who consistently demonstrates fairness, accountability, vision, and integrity inspires confidence, loyalty, and respect. People follow leaders they trust, and trust is built through repeated actions that demonstrate alignment between words and deeds. Inconsistent leaders create confusion, doubt, and disengagement, whereas consistent leaders create clarity, stability, and commitment. Credibility in leadership is earned by showing up reliably, making principled decisions, and delivering on promises, even in challenging circumstances. Another dimension of consistency is its role in building expertise. People trust those who have demonstrated mastery over time. Expertise is not established overnight. It is cultivated through persistent practice, study, and application. A professional who consistently hones their skills, delivers high-quality work, and engages in continuous learning becomes a credible authority in their field. Their credibility grows because others observe the repeated effort, dedication, and results that confirm competence. Consistency is what transforms knowledge into expertise and expertise into trust. Consistency also reduces uncertainty for others. When people know what to expect from you, they can rely on you in critical moments. This predictability is powerful because it creates confidence in your abilities and judgment. Whether in business negotiations, team projects, or personal commitments, the consistency of your actions reassures others that they can depend on you. That trust opens doors, creates opportunities, and strengthens influence in ways that sporadic brilliance cannot achieve. The compounding effect of consistency is remarkable. Every action builds on the previous one. Every commitment kept adds weight to your reputation. Every positive interaction reinforces the perception of reliability. Just as small actions compound into massive results, consistent behavior compounds into unshakable credibility. Over time, people begin to associate your name with trustworthiness, integrity, and competence. That reputation becomes a powerful asset that extends far beyond your immediate actions and amplifies your impact in ways that are difficult to achieve through sporadic effort. Consistency also fosters accountability. When you commit to showing up, performing, and delivering results repeatedly, you create a standard for yourself. That standard shapes your habits, informs your decisions, and guides your behavior. You develop a sense of responsibility not just to others, but to yourself. Every consistent action reinforces your ability to meet expectations, follow through, and uphold your personal and professional commitments. Accountability and consistency go hand in hand, strengthening credibility and trustworthiness. In the age of instant gratification and fleeting attention, consistency is more important than ever. People are bombarded with distractions, promises that fade, and commitments that go unmet. Being consistent stands out. It communicates reliability, maturity, and professionalism. It signals to others that you are serious about your goals, your values, and your commitments. When your actions are consistently aligned with your words, your credibility skyrockets, and your influence multiplies exponentially. Consistency is also a tool for long-term success. Quick wins, temporary bursts of performance, or sporadic effort may create short-term recognition, but lasting influence, trust, and credibility require sustained, repeated actions. The people who endure, who persevere, and who maintain consistent effort over time are the ones whose reputations are solid, whose relationships are strong, and whose impact is lasting. The results of consistency are often invisible at first, but over months and years, they compound into undeniable success, influence, and authority. Finally, consistency is a reflection of your character. It reveals who you are, what you value, and how much you respect others and yourself. People notice patterns more than isolated actions. They observe how you handle commitments, challenges, and responsibilities. By being consistent, you demonstrate integrity, reliability, and strength of character. These qualities build trust that cannot be purchased, borrowed, or faked. Consistency is the foundation upon which credibility is built, influence is earned, and lasting success is achieved.